Greetings everyone, welcome back to my sketchbook. Welcome to the 19th day of Inktober. Hello to the otters at Seaside Park. This is actually the second video that I'm making for this prompt, and the reason why this is the second video is I drew this little picture of a globe down here, and as soon as I put in the land masses, I realized I made a horrible mistake, and I don't want there to be, misinformation. Because I wanted the equator to run through the center of this part of the globe that I drew, I knew it wasn't going to go through where it was supposed to go through, so I'm not happy about that. So I'm going to correct this by actually getting a piece of paper, and I'm going to make a brand new little globe the way that I did the last time. So that's just a little mark there. I'm going to cut this out and I'm going to tape this on. So let's pretend, you know what, I may actually put up that other video because I want you to know that mistakes do happen and you should be okay with, oh, you know what, more mistakes. Let's start the timer. Yeah, it's okay to make mistakes so long as you can admit when you do make mistakes. That's a good thing. What am I trying to say? I try to draw from memory. But as I said, I knew something went wrong. So I'm going to correct that now. Okay. Almost through. I'm usually a lot better. At doing this. All right, so that's what I've cut out. I'm going to set that there for a moment, grab a piece of tape, make a little loop, just like that, stick it to the back end here. I'm actually happy with the way that I did the tilt. This would be kind of a summertime tilt because I wanted to have YOSHI standing up here at the North Pole, dressed as a reindeer, and then Toad down here at the South Pole. And I wanted them to kind of, well, be relative to each other, I suppose, in the way the globe is set up. So I'm going to stick this here and I'm going to try. Okay, get a pen, and hopefully I'll do a little bit better this time around. Of course I will. Let's try to focus on this. All right, like I said, I'm happy with the tilt of the Earth. And as far as how the Earth goes, I'm going to run this line already down here. So this would be the South, this would be the North Pole. The way that I want, well, okay, so first I have to explain this part here. Right along here, this would be sort of the orbit plane, and we are tilted 23.5 degrees on our axis. So it would naturally go straight across here, but our equator would be roughly here. And that's part of what I got wrong the last time through, because I really wanted to have the equator as it was. So if that's where the equator is, it would actually run through the northern part, or I should say the upper part of South America. And again, I'm doing this from revised memory, so it may not be perfect. You'd have Central America kind of like over here. And let's pretend that this ring that I put on with this the cap of my inkwell. Let's pretend that this is like the Van Allen radiation belt or something. I don't know. Over here, you'd have a little bit of what would be North America. So you'd have like, or right here, you'd have Jamaica, let's say, and you'd have, no, not there. Right here, you'd have Jamaica, Cuba, you'd have Florida there, make your way up here past New York into Canada. All right, so that's the North Pole. Let's figure out, this would be Africa. And it would be a pretty good sized landmass. And the equator would kind of run through, like Zaire and Uganda and Kenya. Like Egypt would be up here, Sudan. Anyway, so let's see. Mediterranean Sea is roughly here. Spain, that funny boot, that would be Italy. This would be the United Kingdom, the Channel roughly there, France and Poland and all that stuff. Okay, so let's say that we're going to call this Africa. And here we're going to call this South America. I'm just going to kind of scribble in on top of the landmass. Of course, this would be Europe. And of course, heading up here would be Russia. And okay, so, you know what? Why don't we mark the Atlantic? Just like that. Of course, it is the Atlantic Ocean. So that's a bit better than what I did before. I'm going to get a little bit of water on that just for fun. And, you know, I'm going to use water where there's water. Let all these squiggles turn into water down here. I'll darken in the landmass just a little bit. Okay. This is just sort of some smudgings, but not real smudgings, which is the sort of like a clarification or a ritual of sorts that would remove negativity by tradition of the First Nations people here in Canada. It's a beautiful thing to acknowledge that people lived here in North America before it was discovered. There were already people here. So it's not like the land was actually discovered way back when. It was already inhabited. That's an interesting concept, don't you think? All right. Not perfect, but yeah, like I said, I just couldn't live with the mistake of how I drew in the equator with that landmass before. And then, like I said, I may actually upload that just so you can see the mistake I made. I actually did snowballs too in the last one, and I created shadow underneath this Koopa Paratroopa because he's, flying in. But I think we're just about, we're in our last minute. So let me see. I have the tilt. I have that. I wonder if I could add in a few other little things here. I mean, there isn't really a lot of room. I mean, I guess I could say that this is North America, but that really not a lot of room. Oh, I think that's going to be it. Just kind of add a little bit of shadow underneath a couple of things here for the final 3 seconds. All right, well, that's it, folks. I'm going to upload this one. I may or may not upload the other one just because I think it's okay to see mistakes, but so long as you acknowledge that you've made them, that is it. Join me again tomorrow. The word or prompt will be rivals. And I hope you have a great week. And I guess that's it. Ciao for now.